So, much to my surprise, I got a Patreon pledge. And the pledge I got was the $10 one to watch a film on Netflix that I haven't seen yet and do a special video giving my opinion on it. And Chris requested that I watch and talk about Scooby-Doo Adventures: The Mystery Map. But to make sense of my thoughts on that entry of the long-running franchise, I'm just going to briefly talk about my general feelings on Scooby-Doo. I don't particularly care for it. If you've seen one episode of Scooby-Doo, Where Are You?, you've pretty much seen them all. All they did was change the monster and location. There was little creative invention to the scripts whatsoever, and the show became boring very quickly. The humor was tired, and it just got old seeing the exact same routines and jokes every time, and the mystery was not that involving. And don't even get me started on the addition of Scrappy-Doo and Scooby-Dum later on. However, lest you accuse me of hating everything with Scooby-Doo's name on it, there are a couple of productions I do genuinely enjoy. One is A Pup Named Scooby-Doo. Part of this can be attributed to head writer Tom Ruegger, who would later go on to create Tiny Toon Adventures, Animaniacs, and Freakazoid. There was a self-awareness to the show that made it refreshing and made it stand out from the younger versions of cartoon characters premise that was popular at the time. The characters were completely aware of the formula and would play around with it, and it also helped make the characters a tad more interesting, like turning Fred into somebody who always accused a kid called Red Herring of being the culprit, or Daphne frequently calling on a butler to help them out on things. I also far prefer the Pup Named Scooby-Doo theme song over the Scooby-Doo Where Are You theme. I also like Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island. This feature film took the franchise in a darker direction and fleshed out the characters more. Even the animation got a major upgrade, with the shadows being particularly well utilized. The idea of the monsters being real wasn't a new one for Scooby-Doo, but the way this film changed the formula was really refreshing, especially for its time. There have been many Scooby-Doo productions since then, but I haven't really watched them, so I don't have an opinion. But I hear even folks like myself, who aren't fond of the franchise, have a soft spot for Mystery Incorporated. Back to Scooby-Doo Adventures, Warner Brothers advertised it as an all-new movie, but I wouldn't classify it as such, at least not the modern definition of it. It's more like 2 episodes of a television series that never got off the ground. The first thing that stands out about this is that it uses puppets and they have the Pup Named Scooby-Doo designs. But that's the only aspect of this special that really leaps out about it. The plot is the fairly standard Scooby-Doo Where Are You storyline, with a formula we're so familiar with. The mystery lacks any sort of excitement, and we're given the usual jokes and setups. Admittedly, there are a couple of bits I chuckled at, and the execution with the puppets is kind of adorable, but that's really it. At first I thought about calling it Sesame Street with Scooby-Doo, but that's not entirely accurate, since there's no educational value in this special. But the reason this probably didn't click with me is that I'm not the target audience for this. Number one, because as I said before, I'm not a Scooby-Doo fan, and number two, this is clearly aimed at 3-year-olds. And I don't mean that in a disparaging way. It's made for a very, very young audience, and that's okay. It's harmless and disposable entertainment. If I had a child and I had the choice between having them watch Scooby-Doo Adventures or something completely insulting like Barney the Dinosaur, this wins without a doubt. For what it's out to do, it does its job adequately enough, but it's probably not for me. So thanks for watching this unexpected little bonus review, and I'll see you next time.